I will travel as long as I physically can as an older person. I can travel more now because I have no financial responsibilities apart from what I can spend. So I've got the freedom, I've got the income and the time. I just enjoy the whole travel experience. I've never really had a bad trip. I think the changes in the 30 years since I travelled the first time obviously are the ease with which you can actually book a ticket. I mean, in the old days, because we didn't have the internet, didn't have the travel agent, I don't know how they knew that you could get a seat on a plane. There seems to be a much higher level of efficiency from everybody working from airport to booking staff to getting on the plane, and obviously the speed of getting where you're going. When I've travelled, I've been lucky to have 2 children who work and live overseas. So when I visited London twice, I stayed in a private residence and was able to actually see London, I think, at a different level, and then pop across the channel to Paris for the weekend and back. Cambodia was a place that made me get outside my little comfortable self, look at this country and look at what's actually happened here and take it in. Don't just walk away and say, I'm not extensively travelled, but my advice is to research where you're going, how you're going to get there, to have a good look at what airlines go, whether you're going to go from point A to point B in a bus or a taxi or I know it sounds really stupid, but to make sure that if you're going to a different country that you've got all your medical stuff up to date and your insurances. There are silly things that lots of people probably think are unnecessary, but we actually got to where we think, well, we're going to take our own box juice, our chopping board and a knife. So when we get there, we go shopping and you get your cheese and your salami and your wine and, And I did actually make the fatal mistake of saying to a girlfriend once that I would wrap the knife up in my knickers, and she said she'd prefer it if I didn't because, put it somewhere else. For a complicated trip, I feel safer booking with a travel agent. I've used quite a few travel agents, but I actually tend to use one in particular because he's not one of the big chains of travel agents, and I feel that I get much better service from him. If I make changes, he pretends he's happy to actually, put up with me and still come back to me with I consider to be the best price and the best way to do it. But if I was going from here to LA or here to Melbourne, or I'd just go on the internet and book the lowest trip. I use Skyscanner a lot. It gives you a very quick answer to your question. The only thing I didn't like, and maybe it's ignorance, is that if I wanted to do a multiple thing, I found it quite difficult to look for multiple journey stops and starts. Well, I do like to stay 5-star, I have to be honest about that. But I also like to stay in hotels that are not in the madding crowd. I like it out. But, as long as they're comfortable and clean and have a swimming pool in Asia, I really don't care. In Asia, hiring a taxi for a whole day, I think I've actually seen a lot more than going on a bus tour or, an organised tour. As a senior traveller, the things that would make it easier for me as reasonably healthy, but one with slight health issues, is the fact that at some airports, I resent the fact that you actually have to get out of the aircraft and walk down the steps, across the tarmac, up the stairs and into an airport. I don't see that should be an option these days. Seats that actually slide inside, not the seat actually lying back. I think every aircraft in the world should have that, so that you don't have that person who goes bang and you're suddenly wearing their seat. That would be the hugest, biggest thing that they could do for me. They need to think that a lot of people travelling now are seniors because we've got no children at home, we've got time on our hands and we can do it.